Hola, me llamo Jocelyn Rosario Álvarez y soy mexicana americana.
Olivia Ochoa.
Hi, my name is Cassie Yapa Gonzalez.
Do feel more connected with my Mexican culture. Growing up, I was more exposed to that side of myself. Some parts of myself do identify with the American culture just because as soon as I started going to school, it's, what I learned.
I've always kind of viewed myself as Mexican American. I mean, I practice very Mexican traditions and I'm very stereotypically Mexican, I think. And I'm a default American, I was born here, I was raised here, I grew up here.
As a Mexican American, I do feel more connected to my Mexican side because, well, most of my family is from Mexico. It's what I've grown up with.
Growing up, my parents spoke to me solely in Spanish. However, around the time that I had to go to school, that's when my parents started teaching me English because they knew at school that's what I needed. This affects me today because when I'm having conversations with people, I'll speak a lot of Spanglish, so like half Spanish, half English, and I don't catch myself doing it. So when I'm talking to my friends who don't know the language, they'll be caught off guard and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Sometimes I know words in Spanish that I don't know in English and it's hard for me to translate, or vice versa. I'll know words in English that I can't really translate to Spanish.
I'm so privileged that my parents raised me speaking English and Spanish. And because I was the firstborn, I think they put so much pressure on me that I need to be bilingual. I need to be able to communicate with my family and with my country.
I don't feel out of place anywhere, and that's mostly because when I do spend time with my Mexican family or my Mexican friends who, practice and celebrate the same things I do, I feel like, we're all the same people, or we come from the same place. And the same thing when I'm with my friends at school or even at school with my peers. They know that I grew up here in America and that I do have some of the same beliefs that they do, and I do celebrate the same things they do. So it's easy for me to fit in. I am a proud Latina woman who grew up in America.
I feel out of place everywhere. At school, I'm the most Mexican ever. I speak Spanish and English at home. I eat conchas on a regular basis. I'm part of a mariachi band and I sing in Spanish. I can dance. When I'm with my mariachi band, I'd say my more Mexican friends, I'm the privileged white girl who's getting an amazing education and who's too good for us and is going to get farther than everybody else.
How much have you been getting for a day's work?
Only $2.
$2 a day?
Yes.
You have a little boy. Would you like him to be a farm worker?
No, sir. I've been working all my life in fields, and I don't think it'd be the best place for him. I'd like for him to get a good education.
I'm interacting with people in such a more whitewashed community, And I think that's just, they put me in that box, and that's what they view me as. And when I visit Mexico, and all my family, my aunts, uncles, and my cousins, I'm this amazing American cousin who's gonna go so far and has so much money and is getting so far in life. And I feel like with so many different versions that people view me as, I get overwhelmed and I don't really remember who I am or who I really want to be. I might not be 100% Mexican and I might not be 100% American, but I am 100% human.
I don't really feel that much of a language barrier because Spanish was my first language and I learned English in preschool. Right now, don't feel out of place anywhere, but it wasn't always like that. Like in middle school and in grade school, I went to a very, white school, and sometimes I remember wishing that, wow, I wish I could be white, I wish maybe I wasn't really part of this culture. And, now that I've grown up and I look back at that and I do feel a little sad because, I wanted to assimilate to that school, and, I now see that, my culture is beautiful. And, in Mexico, actually, Sometimes when I go visit, I do feel a little bit too American. And, sometimes my tias will make comments like, oh, there you go, like that American right there. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm also Mexican. I've grown up saying, like, when somebody asks me, oh, what are you? And I say, Mexican. And, my tias over there find it so weird. They're like, you were born in America, why don't you say you're American? And I just feel like I've just always identified as Mexican.
Listen, being Mexican-American is tough. Anglos jump all over you if you don't speak English perfectly. Mexicans jump all over you if you don't speak Spanish perfectly. We gotta be twice as perfect as anybody else. Why are you laughing? What's so funny?
Nothing.
I'm serious. Our family has been here for centuries, and yet they treat us as if we just swam across the Rio Grande. And we gotta prove to the Mexicans how Mexican we are, and we gotta prove to the Americans how American we are. We gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans, and more American than the Americans, both at the same time. It's exhausting. Man, nobody knows how tough it is to be a Mexican-American.
All alone I fought the car up against the clock that started me. It's the life anonymous, trusted with the lives of all of us. I failed to see the flaws and the details I adored and played God. I played God, played God. Science lays heavy head on the cold shoulder of consequence. Rush where angels dare not tread, to force the hand of nature's accidents. Failed to see the flaws and the details I adore and played God. I played God. Said, oh my God, the devil's in the detail. No, Lord, I just didn't look there. We looked so long, we looked so hard. Looked so long, we looked so hard. Said, oh my God, the devil's in the detail. Oh Lord, I just didn't look there. We looked so long, we looked so hard. I looked so hard and for so long. Said, oh my God, the devil's in the detail. Oh God, I'm pretty sure we looked there. I tried so hard and for so long. I tried so hard and for so long. Said, oh, the devil's in the details. The devil's in the details.
I'm Cassie Yapa Gonzalez, and I grew up in Franklin Park and in Cicero.
My name is Alex Lucas. I grew up in Riverside, Illinois.
My name is Jillian Fontanetta. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, so my name is Juliana. I'm from Chicago.
My name is Shira Tan. I grew up in Oak Park.
still am in Oak Park.
My name is Faith. I live in Hyde Park, which is in Chicago.
I'm Abby. I grew up in Edison Park.
My name is Maura Flanagan. I grew up in Forest Park.
My name is Sophia, and I grew up for a little part in Pilsen, Chicago, and then I grew up in Berwyn for the most part of my life.
I mean, it's pretty. I don't think I would wear it, but I like when it's like in patterns and stuff. That's cool.
Uncle Rich, whom I live with, my dad, and then my mom.
Yeah, I got a lot of love to give.
Can you tell me why you're beautiful?
Ooh. Why? I don't know.
Sure. It's like a weird question.
Why am I beautiful?
Stop it.
Why am I beautiful?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
I don't know.
Why am I beautiful?
I don't know.
Because my personality, you know? I think, I don't know. Oh my god.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't know. I think, you know, beauty can come in many shapes and sizes, and it's not defined by like one set of attributes or anything.
What are your attributes?
I have nice eyes. I've been told that. I like my hair. You know, I like to, you know, make it different. I don't know. You know, I have a certain level of confidence sometimes about myself, so like that just sort of like adds to how like you feel about yourself, connect to like how other people see you.
I guess I think of other people, like I would say it's more like internal for me.
I'm beautiful because I am intelligent, I have a loving community around me, and I feel confident in myself.
I'm beautiful because I'm my own person, and because no one else can say that they're me, because I am who I am and no one else is exactly the same.
For me, I think the term beauty, like, it has to do a lot with intelligence, and I have an interest in many aspects of like life, and I love like many like subjects. So I feel like for me, what makes me beautiful in a sense would be like how much I love learning and the capacity I have to retain knowledge and stuff. And I think that would be it.
I guess because I'm not like anyone else. I'm my own person.
Okay, keep going.
And it's beautiful when people are themselves and like don't act like other people, because we're all different and we all have something that's special that no one else has in the world.
My personality, maybe? I don't know.
Keep going.
I just think that I just am really funny sometimes. At times I can be funny. So I think that's what makes me like beautiful, in quotations. Yeah. And I just think that since I like to make people laugh and I like to like make people happy, I think that's a good part of my personality and a good part of me.
My family's beautiful, so I'm beautiful.
Continue.
I don't know, I'm just... Who said I was beautiful?
I said you're beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
But why do you think you're beautiful?
I don't know. I tried to be nice to everyone. I do try. I love all my friends and my family. I try to help people. Yeah, I feel like that's what makes people beautiful. If like, and I give people love, or at least I try to give people love, and that's how you're beautiful. That's why I'm beautiful.
I think I'm beautiful because I have a lot to offer to people and I'm able to care for people with all my heart. and I always try to do my best to help one another as much as I can.
Would you describe yourself as conservative, liberal, or apolitical?
I guess I don't really care.
Liberal.
That'd be apolitical.
I don't know what those mean.
I don't really care.
I'm not very like a political person. I really don't care. Yeah, that's the last one.
Mostly conservative, but
Can you tell me why?
because I guess it just doesn't really affect me right now in any way.
No matter which side you take a look at, you're gonna find pros and cons. It's never gonna be a one side that you can pick and find yourself on. So I mean, if you're gonna straddle the fence, that's gonna be what it is.
Do you have any like reason why you don't like really pay attention to it, or?
I mean, I'm not 18, so. I think that some liberal beliefs can be more towards like socialism. I think conservative is
really like towards capitalism. And I think that that's what America's built on.
Well, I haven't been like watching the news lately. So yeah.
I don't really pay attention to like politics and stuff, so yeah, it doesn't really affect me.
I go to a very liberal church, and most of my family are Democrats, and basically how I was raised.
My parents just never really cared, so I just